Episode 2 of How to Start a Tech Company is in the can. It's done. We recorded it, and I once again had a lot of fun. The topic was what you should expect as a startup founder. Okay, this is something that Matt and I were very passionate about in this episode. Why? Hey, look, we want to bring you the real truth. We want to tell you the real story, and if we sit there and tell you that you should expect to be successful right away, that all of you are going to get rich, that you're not going to have problems, that you're not going to have issues, that you're not going to deal with chaos, we wouldn't be telling you the truth. It's just that simple. So when we talk about this right away in Startup Hustle TV, everyone expects something other than what actually occurs. If you haven't started a business or been involved in day one of starting a business, you realistically have no clue about what you should expect. So when it comes to that expectation, some of the things we talked about in the episode was, well, first off, you need to expect to fail. That doesn't mean you should plan to fail, but your expectation of failure, it doesn't necessarily mean it the whole business. Like if you're certain you're going to fail, don't start the business. But you are going to fail at a lot of things. One of the hardest parts about starting a startup and being a new startup founder is all the things that you have to do one time, or that you don't know how to do, or you have to figure out how to do. Because every single one of them either classify as an expense or time that you have to spend figuring it out. And the problem is there's so much of that in the beginning, and you'll get a lot of it wrong and have to redo it. It takes you away from what you actually started the business to do. And that becomes a problem, and it's something you have to deal with. So some of the common pitfalls that we discussed in the episode, especially related to tech, is people often find the wrong developers or tech services providers. That's something we can help you with at Full Scale. If you want some help or you just want to talk about it, reach out. A lot of people find themselves with the wrong partners or investors. New startup founders often find themselves in a position where raising capital and finding investors is significantly harder than they thought it was going to be. In the same category with that, it often takes twice as long or costs 2 to 3 times more to get your product out. These are all things that when you start putting them together, they become problematic. I've seen a lot of businesses founders and businesses that failed had founders that they did not adequately estimate what the path to revenue was for their business. And with path to revenue, that means how long is it going to take you to put $1 in the bank? And if it's a tech company, it's not going to be right away. In the episode that we recorded, Matt talks about it was 2 to 3 years before Stackify, which is an Inc. 500 company now, but it took 2 to 3 years for them to generate $1 in revenue. I went through the exact same thing. It took GigaBook 2.5 years to generate $1 of revenue. Building software and technology is not easy. It is loaded with frustration, learning curves, and a bunch of stuff you need to fix. In that same category, we talked a lot about you have to expect frustration. We have 3 C's for that. You need to expect frustration related to changes, related to challenges, and related to chaos. Those are all pretty certain those are almost certain to occur in and around your business. Another thing that you should expect as a startup founder is scaling problems. Now, scalability and scaling is a term that gets loosely thrown around in a lot of circles related to tech and related to startups. I personally think that most people don't understand what it really means. So scalability is your ability to rapidly grow the business's offering or user base or just all of it and do it like that. So I hear people often refer to the scalability of their business that relies on people. That's not scalable. A people-centric business is not quickly scalable because you have to recruit people, you have to assess them, you have to hire them, get them started, get them training. Now, you can have some level of it's certainly not scalable in the way that people often refer to it. A scalable business, and the reason that software gets the value that it does from investors, is software shows up to work every day. And if you build it right and you do it correctly, you can just turn the dial up on your server capacity. You might be able to double, triple, quadruple your user base within the existing framework that you have, meaning you don't have to go out and hire a whole bunch of new people to get it done. So, some other things too that you should expect when it comes to some of the problems as a startup founder are chicken and egg problems. And these happen a lot with rapidly growing businesses where you might have a bunch of customers lined up, but you don't have the product ready to provide them, or you need to hire people. And then certain things can't occur until other things occur. And the problem is there's a bit of a domino effect that can occur as a result. And these things become problematic, and it makes it difficult to scale. Another common issue with scalability is just flat out lack of resources. That could be cash, that could be people, it could be equipment, facilities. We ran into this at Full Scale, because at Full Scale, we had 100 employees in the first year. So in 1 month, we hired 30 new people. And then I had to buy 30 laptops, 30 desks, 30 chairs, and we need somewhere for them to work too. So we consistently ran into that kind of stuff where we were in a position to we had to spend $100,000 before any of these people showed up and created any revenue. So there are a lot of scalability problems that occur. And with that, the last one in that category, and I mentioned this earlier, is expect everything to take 2 to 3 times longer and cost 2 to 3 times more, because that's just the way it goes. And overall, that's difficult. A couple other things when it comes to like feelings and things that you will experience, you're going to go through excitement. And I don't want everything I'm saying to be perceived as negative. I just want to be realistic. And I want you to know what you're getting into before you start a startup, because going at it without some understanding of this stuff, it can really strip the fun and joy out of it. And it can be kind of risk. It can increase your risk proposition dramatically. So you'll experience excitement, pride, joy, fear, loneliness, discouragement, frustration, doubts, imposter syndrome. If you get going, it's very easy to be successful and start to wonder, do I belong with these other people that are doing it? You're going to run into haters, skepticism. You'll have a lot of extreme ups and downs. This is a documented thing. Founders depression, it's real. We even did an episode of Startup Hustle about it. Go find it in our feed. We talk all about it. If you talk to a startup founder, they know what's up. They will tell you the same thing, and that's that all the emotions and the roller coaster and the up and down, everything you go through, it's taxing. It is really taxing. Overall, the real story is that accept the fact that your day one plan is wrong, because it is. It's about how you adjust, make changes, deal with the challenges, how you prioritize and deal with different problems. Now, I want to end this video by talking about some of the amazing feedback we got from the Startup Hustle Facebook chat group. And I've been posting the topic of our episodes a couple weeks before we do them, and it had some really amazing feedback and some foul language coming here. But my favorite one was, so I asked everyone, what should you expect? What should any new startup founder expect? My favorite answer was from RJ Pihora, who said, learning the million ways the word fuck can be used in a sentence. It's true. It's true. As a purveyor of the F word, as a pillar of my communication, I respect that. Some of the others were, my answer is that to have every fiber of your will tested, stretched, broken, bought, and sold. Just the real truth, people. It is the real truth. It is not easy. There's a reason that this huge financial reward exists potentially at the end. It's because if you navigate that path and get through everything, you might deserve it. Other comments, drop dead panic. deviations from the OG plan. Like I said, your plan's gonna fail, or it's not gonna fail, but your plan is wrong. You need to use agility and precision and be decisive in changing it, but not so decisive that you become stubborn when it comes to the whole thing. Hopefully that gives you a condensed version of the things we talked about. If you want to learn more about the episode or listen to the whole thing, you can find us on Apple Podcasts. I really want to encourage you to join us on Startup Hustle TV. That is our new web series about entrepreneurship, where much like the Startup Hustle podcast, we are telling the real story of entrepreneurship. That means wins, losses, reality.